The February
There's no water.
2026 regular board meeting of the Big Bear Area Regional Wastewater Agency is called to order at 5 p.m. Could I have roll call, please?
Vice Chair Walsh.
Here.
Director Russo.
Here.
Director Herrick.
Here.
Director Sauer.
Here.
And Chair Segovia.
Here. And could I please have everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and Director Sauer will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Andrew. Of course. Okay, moving on to approval of the agenda. Could I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve it. Second.
Okay.
Was it
Russo and Larry. Roll call, please.
Chair Segovia?
Aye.
Director Herrick.
Aye.
Chair Walsh.
Aye.
Director Russo.
Aye.
And Director Sauer.
Aye.
Okay, public forum. Public testimony is permitted at this time on the following sections of the agenda: presentation and introduction, information, committee reports, consent calendar, and any other matters within the agency's subject matter jurisdiction that are not included on the posted agenda. Do we have any cards?
No.
Okay, thank you. No presentation and introduction. Moving on to information and committee reports. General manager's report. David.
The only thing I wanted to highlight on 6A is the gas company is going to start working on the exposed cactus flat line in April.
Yes.
It'll be nice to get that.
8 years.
Oh, no. It happened 2 years. I've been here for 9.
Okay.
And it happened 2 years before that. So it's been 11 years.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know why some of these things.
There you go.
All right. Do we have any questions from the board on this? All right, no questions. I'm assuming no discussion. Okay, replenish Big Bear report.
Unless there's any questions with regard to the Replenish Big Bear report, I have nothing to highlight.
Does the board have any questions? No? All right, so I will move on then. I'm assuming there's no questions, no discussion. I don't see Rick having any. All right, consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar will be enacted by one motion at the appropriate time. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If a detailed discussion is necessary, any governing board member may request an item be removed from the consent calendar and considered separately. All right. Does any board member wish to remove any items from the consent calendar? No? Okay. Could I have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar?
Move to approve consent calendar. I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Director Sauer.
Aye.
Chair Segovia.
Aye.
Director Herrick.
Aye.
Chair Walsh.
Aye.
And Director Russo.
Aye.
We're moving on to old business. Public hearing, second reading and adoption of ordinance number 001-2026. Bridget.
At the January meeting, the governing board waived the full reading of this ordinance and directed staff to return tonight for a public hearing and potential adoption. Because the agency's current ordinance establishes a 30-minute general public comment period not tied to a specific agenda item, this would require teleconference meetings to hold that full 30 minutes open regardless of public participation. To address this operational inefficiency, staff recommends retaining the time general comment period for in-person meetings, but revising the ordinance for teleconference meetings to require a reasonable amount of time for public comment on each agenda item. This approach maintains public access while improving meeting efficiency and compliance with SB 707. Staff recommend to waive the full reading and adopt the ordinance.
Okay, do we have any board questions on this item?
No.
No? Okay, I'm going to open the public comment at 5:05. Do we have any public comment on this item? No, I'm going to close at 5:05. Okay. Could I have a motion and a second to waive the full reading by title only, ordinance number O01-2026, an ordinance of the Big Bear Area Regional Wastewater Agency Code, amending section 2.04.040 of the Big Bear Area Regional Wastewater Agency Code regarding time limits on public testimony at governing board meetings and adopt the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Do you want to do any discussion with the board or?
I guess, I don't know. Does anybody have any discussion?
Yeah.
It seemed like it happened so fast.
Director Herrick,
Aye.
Chair Sylvia,
Aye.
Director Russo,
Aye.
Vice Chair Walsh,
Aye.
and Director Sauer.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to new business. Discussion, action items, introduction and first read of ordinance O.02-2026. Bridget.
This ordinance, 02-2018 establishes sewer connection fee of $4,180 per equivalent dwelling unit for new development within the agency service area. Since that time, SB 937 has amended Government Code Section 66007 to clarify when connection fees must be collected for residential versus non-residential projects. The proposed amendment specifies that residential connection fees are due at final inspection or issuance of the certificate of occupancy unless paid earlier at the applicant's election, and that non-residential connection fees are due at the time of application. This is the introduction and first read of the ordinance, and staff recommend waiving the full reading and direct the staff to place it on the agenda for consideration and adoption at a public hearing on March 25th.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions on this item from the board?
As a format, will we always now refer to ordinances as O and resolutions as R?
Yes, that's how all of ours are done.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, is there any public comment on this item? No, okay. Motion and second to introduce the ordinance and waive the full reading by title only, ordinance O.02-2026, an ordinance of the Big Bear Area Regional Wastewater Agency, amending ordinance number O.02-2018 regarding the timing of payment for connection fees, and direct staff to place it on the agenda for consideration and adoption at a public hearing on March 25, 2026. Any board discussion? Okay.
Motion second.
Yeah. Can I have a motion and a second then?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, second.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call please.
Director Russo,
Aye.
Vice Chair Walsh,
Aye.
Director Herrick,
Aye.
Director Sauer,
Aye.
and Chair Sylvia.
Aye. Okay, moving on to resolution number R 02-2026. A resolution of the Big Bear Area Regional Wastewater Agency naming a designated person to determine timeliness and sufficiency of claims filed against the agency. Bridget.
Resolution R03-2005 designated the finance manager as the agency's designated person responsible for determining the timeliness and sufficiency of claims under the California Government Code. Since that time, risk management and claims administration duties have been reassigned to the assistant general manager. The proposed resolution updates that formal designation to reflect our current administrative practice, naming the assistant general manager as the designated person, with the finance manager serving in that role in their absence. Staff recommend adoption of resolution number R02-2026.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions from the board on this item?
Procedural, yes.
Okay.
Are you actually making, well, the job position, actually making that decision, or is your council making that decision?
This is really for the person to make sure that we're adhering to the timeline. and making sure everything is done, but we do work with council and our insurance provider for claims on these.
Thank you. Any other questions? No? Okay, any public comment? Okay. Can I at least have a motion and a second?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. Okay, and any more discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Chair Segovia,
Aye.
Vice Chair Walsh,
Aye.
Director Russo,
Aye.
Director Sauer,
Aye.
and Director Herrick.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to update to board policy designated funds. Bridget.
This item is a policy alignment action regarding the agency's emergency fund within the designated funds policy. This fund is intended to serve as a minimum for unforeseen events and is even more important now with the increased cost and volatility that we're still seeing in the wastewater industry. As background, the emergency fund was formally established in 2010 at $500,000, and that level was reaffirmed in 2012 by the board. Since that time, and through adoption of fiscal years 25 and 26 budgets, the board approved increases to the emergency fund for a total amount of $650,000 in 2025 and $825,000 in 2026, and $1 million in future fiscal years. The purpose of this item is to align the policy with our current practice. There is no net financial impact to the agency as these funds were reallocated from future years of the capital and replacement fund. The board retains the authority to change this level at any time. Approval of this policy formalizes the board's previously approved reserve levels, ensures consistency between policy and practice, and maintains our prudent financial standards.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from any board members?
I do have one question. Is this enough in an emergency?
It's enough to get us started with the emergency before, it depends on what type of emergency it is. Really the amount of the emergency and timing in the fiscal year, but that $1 million is enough to get us started with a large emergency project so that we can figure out what that funding is going to look like for either the repair or the replacement of the item.
Yeah, like I'm thinking worst case scenario,
Yeah,
like all flat line goes out with this.
the whole outfall line goes out. So there would not be enough money to put in the emergency fund for that, but it would get us started with the process so that we could at least button up the emergency, get the
Right.
emergency stopped, and then we can determine what that funding plan looks like for the actual permanent repair and replacement.
Understood.
Well, you really went there.
That's
Complete failure.
that's the nightmare scenario I see.
If it goes beyond our budget, the available funds that we have in our budget, there is a provision in the GPA that we can go back to our member agencies for additional support.
Understood. Thank you. That's
Do you have something there?
Well, unless they can emergency would also put the contributing agencies at risk. You might simply not have them.
Let's not jinx ourselves.
That's not. Most of the time, you know, in a repair issue, right, if there's a catastrophic, valley-wide catastrophic event that would cause multiple failures, that would be more of that kind of a, situation. That's when FEMA still exists at that time. When FEMA steps in, a lot of times it supports us. We've had that happen in the past, or borrower has in the past too.
Just saying.
Okay. Do we have any public comment on this item? No. All right. Could I have a motion and a second?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. Okay, any other discussion? Anybody come up with any other question? No? Okay, roll call, please.
Director Sauer,
Aye.
Director Herrick,
Aye.
Director Russo,
Aye.
Vice Chair Walsh,
Aye.
and Chair Segovia.
Aye. Okay, moving on to item D. Reimbursement of replenished Big Bear expenditures with Title 16 grant funds. David.
Yes, so previously, obviously, we've had some discussion yesterday about this project, about this Title 16. And knowing that this was going to be on the agenda, In the past, we had gotten direction from the Title 16 that was, set up for construction, and that we would have to pay that, funding back, so we decided not to draw on it. After, the USBR contacted us, they were encouraging us to start to draw those funds because they didn't want to have to reallocate those to a different agency. And I told them about our reluctance. We didn't want to have to draw on something that we would have to pay back. And they said that they hadn't seen that happen in the past. And that, they understand that projects get to a certain point and then they decide that it's too not cost effective for the project and the board chooses to go a different way. With that, I said, well, then, then we'd like to start drawing on those funds. Of course, we were going after the 2022 money because that's what they're concerned about. And so that's what the recommendation is. And really, normally I would just apply for it, but I wanted the board to know because we had relayed to the board basically the opposite direction that we got from the granting agency in the past. And we wanted the board to know that there was a change from the granting agency. So that is the recommendation is to authorize the general manager to submit that request to the USBR for the $525,000, and then any additional eligible expenditures will also apply for reimbursement. Yeah, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
All right. I would imagine there'll be a question.
Do we have that in writing from them?
No, they're never gonna. They're never going to put that in writing. I've never seen that before. They're never going to put that in writing. But we do trust that. If we get reimbursed for something that we've already expended the expenditure's already happened, and then someday, if they ever require us to pay that back, we're just getting back money that we've already expended. So it really will just kind of sit around in the contingency fund that we're developing for the project as it moves forward.
Well, it's just that it's been spongy as to whether we have to pay things back or not. And we can't seem to get solid response from whoever the funding agencies are, that it would be, to me, it would seem prudent to have it in writing where they said, yes, this qualifies.
And the expenditure qualifies for reimbursement. That's not the discussion. Whether we move forward with construction on the project is when it sews up the requirement to ever have to pay those things back.
Well, but you're using the Title 16 funds. It was other than what we originally.
It was specified in there that the 1.6 million was specified in there, and part of it was going to be for design, but it is under one contract that is design and construction. That's why we were kind of hesitant, and based on the direction we got in the past, we didn't feel prudent to draw that. We knew that was an ironclad.
Are we operating on the premise that if they give us the money, they won't take it back, or that's the argument to say, well, you gave it to us, how is it now not acceptable?
We're operating underneath the premises once we complete the draw on the money is ours. If they, like I said, if they adhere fully to the contract, if we decide not to move forward with the project and they adhere fully to the contract, paying back something that we had already spent is, almost, I'd rather take a chance on not having to pay it back than losing the funding, if that makes sense to you.
But taking a chance then is key in my understanding.
Right. I am taking a chance that that based on what they said, I'm taking a chance that we will have to, that we won't have to pay it back. But if I don't take a chance, then I just lose $1.6 million. And I don't think that's a prudent situation of, responsible. So that's why I'm making the recommendation.
Anybody else with any questions?
Yes, if I could. So, David, just so I understand a little bit better, it's a reimbursement for expenses we've already incurred, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Have we already written a check for these expenses?
Yes.
Okay. So all we're doing is we're refunding, we're getting this money back in our account of which we've already spent, of which they've allocated for us to use for the exact purpose that has been described. So,
Yes.
okay. So if we don't take it, we're basically throwing good money away because why would we not take it? Is there,
That's correct.
yeah, even if I'll call it slight chance it has to be repaid, we're in no different of a position than we otherwise would have been. In fact, we'd still be in a better position than being hit twice with it. So, anyways, I'm in favor of it because it only makes sense to move forward with it as opposed to throwing the money away. I'm not in favor of throwing money away.
That would be my recommendation.
Any other questions from the board at this time? Okay, do we have any public comment? No? All right. Could I please have a motion for this item?
I move that we have David move forward with the reimbursement of the Big Bear expenditures with Title 16 grant funds.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Director Herrick,
Aye.
Director Russo,
No.
Director Sauer,
I,
Chair Segovia.
Aye.
And Vice Chair Walsh.
No.
Item passes.
Okay, moving on to governing board organization. Bridget.
The board conducts its annual election of chair and vice chair each February, typically following a rotation amongst the member agencies. To qualify for chair or vice chair, a board member must have served on our board for at least 1 year. So unfortunately, Director Sauer is the only board member not eligible for either position. For reference, the past 3 years of chair and vice chair appointments have been provided in the staff report. 2 options that the board may consider are 1, keeping the chair and vice chair as is, or 2, a member from CSD becoming chair and a member from the city becoming vice chair.
I would be interested in continuing as chair.
I would like to see the positions held as they are currently.
I would like the motion that Mr. Russo become the new chair.
Okay, so the process is that we open the nominations. We'll have to have a second offered, and then we'll do a vote for the chair. Or since the motion was for Director Russo to be the chair.
Okay, and we need a second.
I didn't hear a second. And if mine wasn't proposed as a motion, which that was what it was intended to do, my motion would be first.
Okay, we can do that to keep it as is. It's a motion. I need a
I will
second.
second that.
And roll call. Vice Chair Walsh,
No.
Director Herrick,
Aye.
Director Russo,
No.
Chair Segovia,
Aye.
and Director Sauer.
I,
Chairs, we are going to keep the positions as is, so the chair will be Segovia. And then we need another one for vice chair. We need a separate vote. So Rick, was that also part of your first motion, was to,
Yes.
as the vice? Okay.
Yes.
Right,
I will second
and a
that.
second. Okay, Vice Chair Walsh. This is the motion to have the vice chair continue to be you.
No.
Director Herrick,
Aye.
Director Russo,
Okay, what was,
the vice chair to remain as is, as Vice Chair Walsh.
okay, well, no.
Chair Segovia
Aye.
and Director Sauer.
I,
Okay, Vice Chair will remain as is.
Okay, moving on to comments and announcements. David, do you have anything?
I have nothing.
How about the governing board members? Does anybody have anything that they would like to say? Oh, no? All right, well, I'm looking forward to being chair again. I've enjoyed this year. So I want to say thank you. And I guess that's it. I will adjourn the meeting at 5:25.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Rick. I appreciate it.